Bull or bear? Rolling my, bull or bear coin, the old one. Comes up a bull again. Good afternoon. Hey, what's up, folks? This is Brian Kuzmar with Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals in beautiful Lauderdale by the Sea. Haven't put this video up here in a little while. This is the live Robbie's cam down in Robbie's Marina cam down in Isla Mirada. And the tourists are out. Take a look at this windy, blustery day, even here about 3 hours north of there, approximately. Windy here even, but take a look at this. Everybody having a good time. Robbie's is a great place. You can go down there and feed these huge tarpon, which is what these folks are doing right here, these young ladies. Getting attacked by pelicans as well. I guess the pelicans take advantage of this. And they're out, man. As many pelicans as there are people. They're almost like the pigeons of the Florida Keys to some degree. There we go, fighting over some food. Don't see any tarpon there, but let's move over. Cool thing, you can see some tarpon here 6 to 8 feet long on a nice clear day. And they'll come right up, and if you put that right, watch, let's see if she gets, let's see here, let's see if they even show it here. And oddly enough, wow, they put a screen up. I guess too many people were getting their arms taken off. Not really, they don't have teeth. But they would actually come right up and literally engulf your arm if you had a bait on it. Scared the hell out of a lot of people out there. Probably scared the hell out of the big tarpon just as well. And speaking of scaring grandma into buying gold and silver, folks. And there's a reason I'm going to talk about this. Today I got a phone call, and this is not the first phone call. I get it all the time, of a elderly lady in her 80s, and my mom's in her 80s, okay? I'm sure some of you folks might be in your 80s or have parents that are in their 80s or grandparents or whatever, but Americans, we love our babies and our old people, hopefully. So our grand people and our babies, but no less, scaring grandma to buy gold and silver. It's something I see all the time out there, folks, by what I would call greedy salespeople, and greedy marketers, and people that really don't understand gold and silver. There's a mix. There's a mix of people that scare grandmas and scare other people into buying gold and silver. There's a mix of that kind of people. Some of them are just ignorant. They don't know better. They heard it from someone else. Some of them are even, not even some of them. There's a lot of people out there that innocently were told that the reason they had to buy gold and silver is for two things. First off, they had to buy gold and silver, or they had to go buy silver or something because they would need to trade this for food when the dollar just completely disappeared. Well, that's bullshit, folks. Bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. To the most degree, that's bullshit, and I'll tell you why in a little bit. And that is a tactic that is used to scare grandmas into and others into buying gold and silver. Again, this is the result of I just get so many of these calls from these elderly people, and again, elderly women that are on their own, and then a friend of theirs or someone in their grandson or whoever told them that, hey man, buy, and again, innocently probably too. But the thought that you needed to buy gold and silver to buy food to buy food directly with it, to trade it for food, is a bullshit scam perpetrated by telemarketers and YouTube marketers out there, and somewhat again by people that really just don't know better. I'm going to get into that in a moment as well. The other big bullshit thing out there is confiscation. That the reason grandma has to buy $20 gold pieces or collector type gold pieces is because the government won't confiscate them. Well, I'm going to read a little article why the government is not confiscating gold now or anytime soon, nor probably will it ever, okay? Now, so we'll get into that. And again, that scare tactic was used by telemarketing companies 20 and 30 years ago to get grandma and grandpa and other people to buy numismatic type $20 gold pieces and things at an price premium in order to prevent potential confiscation by the government. Again, we're going to read about why that's such nonsense, and really, don't let this scare you, because gold and silver are really about financial security, and that's exactly what it should be treated as, is financial security, not as an emergency form of money to go buy your bacon and your loaf of bread or whatever's available at the Armageddon times, okay? That's not going to happen, all right? It's just not going to happen, and I'm going to explain that here in a little bit. But gold, and the same thing with the confiscation. You don't need to go out there and spend a 20% premium or higher on, it's probably even higher now on numismatic goods. I bet it's much higher. For $20 gold pieces and certified grades and 60 whatever grade it is they're trying to pitch on you, or just even ungraded $20 gold pieces because the government can't confiscate them. That's bullshit too. I'm going to talk about that. But what's not nonsense is that gold and silver, again, are all about financial security. It's been around for 5,000 years. You just have to be careful of the shaman, I guess they call it, that you, I know the word, I don't pronounce it often, that you listen to, the hucksters, the telemarketers, the YouTube hucksters out there as well. And there's some of them. Well, anyways, we're going to talk about it in a moment, but first, kind of, here, should we get into spot prices first? Or yeah, let's get into spot prices here, the other nonsense market of the COMEX markets. What's going on here in spot prices? Currently, the overnight markets haven't got hit too bad, which surprises me. Usually, when the monkey hammering has been occurring, of late, it's been occurring in the overnight markets. We'll wake up in the morning, we'll see gold to silver trash. Not so much. We're seeing it maintain these levels down a little bit, and again, going up in the afternoon CME crooked Crimex markets as well in the afternoon. So most of the movement in the upside I've seen happen in the afternoon, mid-afternoon, late afternoon. And then kind of sideways and a little bit down in the evening, a little bit down in the morning, but back up again. We're hanging on to that $2,000 mark. We're hanging on to that $24 plus mark for sure. And again, I kind of like the way this market is moving. I don't see it moving in big, well, I shouldn't say that. We did see a big increment last week. But the question I have to ask myself, in past markets, cyclical markets, the big collusive banks out there and the big collusive CME group Comet Marketplace that they derive our spot gold and silver prices from, they typically hammered markets in May. You've heard the thing, go away in May. And I've got to wonder, but that's not always true. Again, these cyclical patterns sometimes you notice aren't always true. However, the big collusive commercial banks that trade these cyclical patterns, not trade them because they're trying to trade a pattern, but trading because they know they can manipulate this pattern. If you get where I'm going, it's the same thing we talk about on these videos all the time. But no less, are we going to see sub $2,000 here coming up in May? I'm not quite sure. But what we are seeing is gold hanging on to that $2,000 mark. I'm wondering if it's going to break its all-time high anytime soon. And we talked about that last night. Will it be this week? Kind of doubt it. I think we're going to see these little increments, $10 up, 5 down, $10 up, or whatever, a couple bucks up, couple bucks down. But overall, the trend movement is upwards and slow daily movements. I like that, again, better than seeing big movements. I remember the bull market of when the bull market of gold and silver and platinum started or gold and silver started in the 90s. I think it was hang on a second, when was it? Not 90s, 2000. Oh my gosh, I kind of forget exactly. God, my brain's going. That's what happens when you get old, you young folks out there. But anyways, I remember that the healthy market that I saw, that we saw it click up to the $50 mark in silver, it would move up 50 cents, 75 cents down a little bit, and it did this on a daily basis. A little, up a bit, down a bit, but overall a gain, and it did that. So I like those kind of movements. It tells me that it seems healthy. But again, there's nothing healthy or organic about the crooked Crimex market. At any given time, they can drop the lid on this right here. And they don't even try to hide it anymore. But let's get out of there and talk about, this is the same old shit we're talking about, the Crimex criminal market. But let's talk about what I came here to talk about, which is bartering with silver. And again, pitching this to people out there, if you are a professional and you're pitching that you should be buying silver to barter with, okay? And you are a true professional and you understand the economy somewhat, even on a high school level, all right? You should not be pitching that you should be buying this stuff for barter. And let me go over a couple reasons why. That was one of the concerns that 82-year-old grandma called me today on. And I shouldn't be calling her grandma because I'm not too far behind her. But, I shouldn't say that. I said my mom's 80. I'd look after her like this, and your grandma too. But one of her concerns was, I want to buy some silver coins. Someone told me to buy, dimes, quarters, and halves, and small increments, so I can go out and buy food with it, when the dollar disappears. And I hear this so often, not just grandmas. I hear from people across the board. Folks, you are not going to use 90% silver, dimes, quarters, and halves to buy food with. Highly unlikely. If it was, then we're in an apocalyptic world where you're most likely to eat your neighbor before you are spending your coins, okay? And let me tell you why. First off, we have not been on a gold and silver standard, neither has the rest of the world for decades. And let me start a little bit later here. All of us are familiar with $100 bills, okay? We're all familiar with what a $100 bill looks like. You know, you grew up as a kid, got a dollar bill. Our recognition of a real dollar bill and a $100 bill is amazing if you think about it. You could hand someone that's fairly not, wealthy. You can hand someone that's living on the streets a $1, $5, $10, or $100 bill, and more than likely they know whether it's real or not by the feel and everything. Think about this: how savvy our generation and past generations and this current generation is on understanding what a real $100. You know why that is? Because they see it every day. Now I'm going to backtrack here a little bit. Back in the day, when there was gold and silver coins circulating, when I was a kid, there were still JFK halves floating around out there, and even some Franklins, but mostly JFKs that were clad. So we were familiar with and prior to my generation, my grandparents' generation, they had Walking Liberty half dollars, dimes in their pocket. They could tell a fake dime from a real dime, and a vast majority of Americans at that time could. You know why? Because like the $100 bill, they were used to seeing it all the time, okay? So that's why that is exactly why. Now, I'm going to step forward again in the future again. When is the last time we have circulated silver and gold coinage in this country for spending money? And that has gone through our children's hands. It's gone through their hands hundreds, and if not through a lifetime adult, thousands of times. Even people that don't have a lot of money, people have handled cash thousands and coinage thousands of times. How many people would be able to sell a real silver coin from a gold coin, or a silver coin from a not a silver coin? They wouldn't, folks. Just like if you never handled $100 bills and you just stepped into a country or stepped into an environment where someone threw $100 bills and $1 US bills and you never seen them before, or hardly ever, you don't have the experience to tell whether you're looking at the real goods or not. And that's the same thing with gold and silver. There's no way that if and first off, let me go another place when it comes to this stuff, eating with this, even in hyperinflationary times in Germany. And let's just take a look here. Here, let me get a little wheelbarrow full of marks. Remember that story, right? Wheelbarrow full, 4 marks. Full of German marks, all right? You remember the old story about the, let's see, wheelbarrow full. There we go. There's actual pictures of this story. See the wheelbarrow full of German marks? Well, maybe not of the story, but there you go. Wheelbarrow full of German marks. There's stories in hyperinflationary Germany where you needed this much to go buy a loaf of bread. And where am I going with this story? Is that even if the dollar collapses, and if you think about the Zimbabwe dollar, and it took stacks like this to buy some food. The general population was not going to have gold or silver. There's not even enough gold and silver to spread amongst the general population. The general population is still going to use some form of currency, some form of fiat, and most likely it's just going to be a dollar, but a lot more of them, just like this gentleman in Germany here, just like these kids playing with the German marks. And you want to hear something funny? When I started working for my father in the 70s and 80s, we used to get German marks still in packs like this because they still existed. Million marks in packs. And we've actually owned boxes this big of German marks as a kid, but that's a collectible thing. But you are still in a hyperinflationary environment in the United States. The dollar will still be here. There will still be some form of fiat, maybe it'll be digital fiat, that people will be using for trust and familiarity reasons. It won't be gold and silver coins you'll be eating with. You will not take your dimes, your constitutional silver, and walk into a Publix or walk into any grocery store, local store, and buy goods with it. I don't care if it's bread or anything. Now, if you're thinking in an apocalyptic situation, then more than likely that could be true, but more than likely your neighbor is likely to eat you and steal your gold and silver coins in that environment. So my advice, get out of town. All right. What's the other bullshit excuse? Wow, going to be a long one today. Financial security, we're talking about, man, we're talking about all kinds of things, all right? So this is, bartering with silver is nonsense. There's a lot of people, pro and con, that talk about it out there. I've been talking about it for years and years and years, why you will not be using your silver and gold coins for barter. So don't let innocently wrong people convince you otherwise, and don't let greedy salespeople, and maybe even innocent thinking salespeople tell you otherwise. You will not be eating with your gold and silver coins like trading them directly. You will take your gold and silver coins, you will go to a local dealer or someone that buys gold and silver coins, and you will trade them in for more German marks or US dollars. A wheelbarrow full, for example, for your 10th ounce, or whatever it may be. You'll get a wheelbarrow full of dollars for your 10th ounce gold. You know, whereas it used to be only like $300, now you get a wheelbarrow full of them. And that wheelbarrow is what you'll go out and buy your bread with, all right? Follow me on this? Gold confiscation, the next bullshit. There's so much buying U.S. gold to avoid confiscation. Now that started with Monex, not Monex, who the hell was it? Oh, I forget their name. Back in the 80s and 90s, they were one of the largest telemarketers. They did TV ads and everything. You know, you got to buy the $20 gold pieces because of confiscation. That was their salesman spiel on a piece of paper. Hear that paper? They would hold that, you know, and if you don't buy it, now you could hear them on the phone. You know, your government will come in and confiscate your gold. Bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. If someone's trying to talk you into buying U.S. gold coins, oh, actually, there's my video right there. Here, I got to know. It's funny. That's 2 years ago I did this. U.S. confiscation of 1933, an ongoing scam of U.S. gold and silver buyers. Going to be a long video, folks, but bear with me. This is 6 minutes here. Do you want to watch it? Hey, why not? We're talking about U.S. Rather than me talk about it and rehash something I've already talked about, let me do the video for you. And again, I apologize. It is 6 minutes. It's still me. Just pretend it's me talking now. Hi, this is Brian Kuzma from Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals in sunny Lauderdale by the Sea, Florida. Today I'm going to go over a subject of confiscation and when it happened in the United States, which you can tell by this little sheet, was in 1933. And the reason I'm going to talk to you about this is because it is often used as a tactic to sell people higher priced numismatic items that they really don't need when they're looking for bullion items. I don't want to digress, but let me just kind of go over what happened and when, and if you're not familiar with it. Well, I was using digress way back then. But back in, just to keep it short and simple, back in 1933, we were in a depression. FDR had to kind of reprice the currencies and back up the currencies because we were in such a bad state at the time. So in 1933, they made this executive order that required all Americans to turn in all their gold coins, all their gold bullion, which would be bars and other type bullion items, and any coins that didn't have a numismatic value, which means didn't have a real collector value to them. There were really no people convicted. I think there was one guy, and from what I can see here, his name was Frederick Barber. He was actually convicted, the only person convicted of not turning his gold in, but I think he kind of flouted it in their faces and took it to court. I'm not quite sure. You can look that up online and get the details. It's really an interesting story if you get the time to read about it. But again, I want to go into how this is used to get money out of a lot of people's pockets that they really shouldn't be paying. Years ago, and I'm also going to tell you why it's no longer valid. Some years ago, I think about a decade or more ago, telemarketing companies, which are these companies that you'd see on CNBC and on TV, and they would tell you, buy gold, buy American gold. And what they were referring to is $20 gold pieces. I'm going to put the tray out here and show you what I'm talking about. They were referring to items like this, United States $20 gold pieces, and they were trying to sell you these items because unlike bullion items, these items have a 20% markup, so which means the salesman made a lot more money, and as well as the company itself, than selling regular bullion items. 20% is a pretty hefty markup, and something probably you don't want to pay if you're trying to buy just gold. You don't want to buy U.S. Gold coins for a large premium and in high grades. It's just completely unnecessary. And they often will tell you the reason you want to buy this, and one of the sales pitches in these old telemarketing sales calls would be, they would tell you that if gold coins are ever confiscated again, that they could not confiscate these gold coins. Unlike maple leafs. They would actually tell customers, well, your maple leafs, your Krugerrands, and your American Eagles, those can be confiscated because those are considered bullion. And the truth is, back in 1933, that would have been true. But we're not living in 1933 anymore, and that is a complete lie and a farce because, first off, the reason FBR was able to do that is because we were under a gold standard at the time. And if you looked at that original receipt, you also notice that it says gold certificates and bullion. So he made everyone turn that in. We are no longer on a gold standard. We haven't been on a gold standard since, I think, 1972 when Nixon took us off the gold standard. So today, if they were trying to confiscate your Eagles and your maple leafs and your Krugerrands and such, they would actually, there's no reason to do it because we're no longer under a gold standard. They don't have to back up the currency with gold anymore. They can just print, as you know, as much as they want. So we're no longer on a gold standard, so there's no justification for confiscating gold bullion coins. And even if there was, think about this, they would have to physically come to everyone's homes and take their gold coins away, which they never even did in 1933. One guy tested the case, all right? So they'd have to come to your home and take this stuff away from you. And that's how these salesmen scare people into buying these higher priced numismatic items at 20% over, because they tell them, well, if you look in the 1933 executive order, FDR excluded rare coins. But again, the fact is we're no longer under the gold standard. And if they needed to collect money now, they wouldn't need to come and take gold from their homes. They could just, with a stroke of a pen, take part of your retirement account from tens of millions of people. 1%, 2%, not even that, which is probably going to happen one day. But to go into people's home and take their gold, no, it's just never going to happen. And it's really just a scare tactic by telemarketing companies. Don't fall for it. If you're going to buy bullion, stay away from numismatics. And there's nothing wrong with numismatics. They're great products if you want to become a collector. But if you're just buying gold, and you just want to make a gold move, stay away from that stuff. As much as I love rare coins and I think it's a fun, great hobby, you don't want to buy that if you're making a gold play. Stick with your regular bullion products, American Eagles, Maple Leafs, Austrian Philharmonics, and a host of other good products that are out there as well. Anyway, I'll keep this short and sweet. Hopefully I did, and appreciate you watching. If you got any questions, don't hesitate.
Oh, there you go, man. I actually kept something short and sweet in my life. I haven't watched that video in a while. It didn't get actually a lot of views. It was a couple years ago, but it really just kind of rehashed what I would have said anyway here, and I think actually I said it better then even than what I would have now. And if you want to know more about that, Peter Schiff talked about this, and really I learned from him. Not learn from him, but he was kind of one that got me thinking, yeah, we're no longer on the gold standard. There's no reason why they'd confiscate gold other than it'd just be pure theft at that point. So there's a really good article here by Peter Schiff. It's called The Confiscation Con. A couple ways you can do this. You can hit the, you can hit the link here and look for it. I think it's on Capitalism Magazine, but it's called The Confiscation Con. It was written a long time ago, and again, the reason I remembered this years and years ago is because of Peter Schiff. Really good article here. A couple ways you can go online and look for it, or if you want, I'll just scroll it down like this, and you can read it on your screen, and I'll do this real quickly. True Numismatics, really good article too. Highly recommend you read it, but we'd be here for another 30 minutes if I read this article. But it looks manageable. Here, what me worry. Good article here. And as soon as I get to the bottom here, again, I'm just giving you guys the ability to stop and read this whole thing. Shop Smart. There you go. That's it. That's it. All right, let's move on to the next page here. Good article. Again, highly recommend you read that, whether stopping it on my video or whether going to the site itself and reading it yourself. So much news out there, folks. Prices are just so crazy. The world is so crazy. It's kind of weird. I've been talking about de-dollarization and since I've been doing my videos, and that's like been 3 years plus now, or maybe even more. I don't even know. I lost track. Several hundred videos later. I've been talking about the de-dollarization, the BRICS nations for years. I've been talking about the weaponization of the U.S. dollar for years on these videos, and I've been talking about even longer than that, decade plus, and it seems like weird. All of a sudden, these things that we've been talking about, me, you, other people, a small percentage of Americans and other people out there, now all of a sudden it's like mainstream news. I mean, take a look at this. Sounds alarm over de-dollarization. Well, you're about 20 years too late, Tucker. But again, at least someone out there is sounding the alarm, because it's about to smack the world in the head. The de-dollarization and the tomorrow's jobless claims, all right, revisions. My understanding is that it's very possible the BLS, which is a government-run entity, and run by the administration or whoever does, their peeps, has the BLS has been lying about the employment figures to get the Fed to do what they want them to do. Is that a possibility? Hey, man, I believe it highly is. I believe we're living in the age of lies. Whether it's mainstream media, politics, or our economic leaders, we're living in the decade of lies for sure. All right. Anyways, I'm going to get out of here because there's not lots to talk about. Nothing good here. And what's that? Nothing good. And the reason I like to talk about nothing good, my father used to say that. Gosh, just thought about. Gosh, that's my father talking when I call nothing good. Sadly, but nothing good here. But you know what? You got to look on the brighter side of things. Nothing good means good stuff for the price of gold, silver, and platinum, and I believe that sincerely. Hey, you got to check out tomorrow's video. I think I'm going to do something on spreads. I found an old spreadsheet here, and when I say old, maybe a month and a half old, the bids and ask on all the gold and silver products between a month and a half ago and today. I'm going to talk about that tomorrow a little bit because it's just amazing. I can't believe how these spreads have changed so quick. I'm living it, and it's like watching a child grow. For me, it's hard sometimes because I'm here every day. You know what I mean? I'm thinking about it every day. I'm doing it every day. And not even a month and a half ago, man, premiums were just dramatically lower than they are right now, and they seem to be going up even higher. And futures flat ahead of jobless. Yep. Yeah. Tomorrow could be a good day for gold and silver. Again, unless they monkey hammer it down. Remember. It is not an organic marketplace. It is a rigged, fixed marketplace by large commercial players with a large amount of money that are allowed to do it in the casino marketplace called the CME Group COMEX. All right, had to say that one more time. Will gold break its all-time high this week? That was my thought. I don't think so. Again, I just don't feel it right now. I like these small increments. If it was going to move the way it did earlier in the week, the dramatic big move ups, perhaps, but no, we're not seeing that right now. And in fact, let's just see if we can hang on to the levels we have at the moment. But I have great confidence that we're in an accelerated version of a very slow bullion market that we've been in a long time right now. It's hard to see moving. Again, if you're watching gold and silver prices every day, you wonder, hey, why isn't it doing this? Not keeping up and not doing this, not doing that. It is, folks. It's just hard to see. Let me answer some questions. Go down to the bottom of the page, and I'd like to thank everybody for watching. Jason, what's up? Michael Matthews, Helen. Yeah, oil will be weaponized, but it has been. The Saudis have known the power that they've had for some time, but they've always been kind of reliant on us. But now they can become reliant on others, like China, like Russia, like Brazil. You know what I'm saying? And so Saudi Arabia is in a whole different playing field right now. Their options have opened up, which is not good for us. And why? Because we weaponize the dollar. Our idiot moron politicians weaponize the dollar, and in both parties. There's war hawks and idiots and morons in both parties, red and blue. Anyone that supports the current Ukraine war is an idiot, and I don't care what party they come from. Anyone that supports anyone that supports that war or supported it from the start, even if they don't now, their head was up their ass pretty squarely, not understanding what really happened there, which was a regime change. A regime change never work out for us Americans, ever. And it works out even way worse for the countries that we create those regime changes in, i.e. Afghanistan, Iraq, Syria. Think about this, folks. Every country we've been involved with a regime change, we have fucked it up royally. Not you and I, but it is you and I because we allowed them to do this, all right? All right, anyways, I'm going off into a political rant. Let me stop that. And thank you, Patrick. Appreciate that. Yeah, thumbs up on that 25 mark on this video. Dario Perez says it's possible to file civil suit against the. It's a good question, Dario. Let's see if someone answered that. Even if it's a waste of time to ignore their fiduciary responsibility. I'd be curious about that. Hey, I'm in for a couple bucks. I'm in for a few hundred for someone that wants to try. And I guess all of us throw in a couple hundred, we might do it. Christina Napolitano, I'm Italian, just fry it with. Yeah, it's true. Everything good is good with garlic and oils, and if you fry it. Olive oil, a little bit of olive oil and a little bit of butter. I like mixing the two. Donald Robinson, if Bitcoin goes 300, very few people would afford Bitcoin. 300. Well, we'll see. You never know. I don't know, man. I don't know what. I'll stay out of it right now. Joe McDonald, what's going on? I see it on Northern Icebreaker, 57-acre ice disc. Woo! Wow. Oh, I saw that big 50. Yeah, ice disc spinning in the lake or whatever it was. Pretty cool stuff. Yeah, income tax 70. Yeah, exactly, David. Jeff Keller, thumbs up. What's going on? Silverliner. Yep, lots of rabbit holes for me. Don, what's going on, dude? Templeton Fun. I remember that. A Packard. Wow. Jason, what's going on? Thank you, folks, for watching that video from yesterday. We'll go break its all-time high. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and the bell that's on your page if you want to watch future videos of mine. It'll alert you when the new ones come up. And hey, don't forget, let's talk about spreads tomorrow. I think it's going to be a pretty cool video. I hope I can get it done tomorrow, in the morning, hopefully, as well. And meanwhile, if you don't find me on YouTube, you can catch me here. It's just because I probably said something that the YouTube powers to be may not have liked, but hopefully I'll be here. And hopefully they'll kind of become like this company right here, which used to be very anti-free speech, now owned by Elon Musk, has opened up much better. I've gathered a few more followers. If you got any questions for me, great place to ask me, because I do answer directly here, and probably, well, I answer directly, not so much on the videos, though. I don't kind of answer verbally on the videos here, in the comments section. I'll let you guys do all that stuff. I'll verbally comment, I'll talk to you. Well, anyways, another rabbit hole there about videos. You can catch me here on Twitter under my name, Brian Kuzmar, and if you want to pause it and write that down, that's cool. You can also catch me, someone said this is for 80-year-olds. I'm not there yet, but I will be, so I might as well keep the site. You can catch me here as Brian Kuzmar on, I also post my videos here as well, and there we go. All activity, there you go. Ooh, I actually posted something about carrying a gun with a live round. That's one of my favorite. And guess what? Florida has a legal carry. But there you go. Post my videos out there as well, and you can ask me questions there. And here's the final. I'm going to call it quits. If you're looking to buy gold, silver, and platinum, and you live in South Florida anywhere, we have a brick and mortar store. We've been in this location since 1995, been doing this since 1977. I'll beat the locals down here in price and service, and yes, even the good locals, and there are some good guys around that are very competitive, but I want to be even more competitive than them. And if you live in South Florida and you're considering not driving out because, hey, it's hot out, and maybe I can get it cheaper online. No, I will beat Apmex, SD, and JM Bullion on their selling prices of all their precious metals. They're reasonably priced precious metals they have for sale. So call us anytime. And a gentleman reminded me today, I should bring up that we also buy stuff, and we're very competitive on buying. Am I the highest all the time on buying as far as across the country? Not always. And again, I'm kind of talking to that young gentleman. But meanwhile, we also buy stuff too. So if you live in South Florida, we are a great option. You don't have to mail the stuff in as well. And our prices are good. I'm going to talk about spreads tomorrow. We're going to talk about what the best deals are tomorrow and that stuff. I'm going to call it quits right now, but you're looking for a great deal in precious metals and good service and a trustworthy dealer, hey, call us, 954-493-8811. Thanks for watching. Have yourself a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye now.